had children and a partner, and went through domestic violence against my partner. So I would beat her up, physically beat her up, intimidate her, manipulate her. She pretty much never had a lifestyle of her own or knew who she actually was, because I met her at such a young age. So I controlled the relationship, I controlled the money, controlled the relationship, pretty much just controlled her whole life, that she was with me. And after a while, I suppose she just got used to the way that I wanted things done. If things weren't done when I wanted them done, or I wasn't happy, the family knew. My children knew, my wife knew, my tone of voice. They just knew that Dad's either in a good mood or he's in a bad mood. And so, yeah, I installed fear into my family. I'd be perceived to be this quiet, young gentleman, good father, that doesn't have an anger problem, that doesn't have a problem. So I wouldn't exactly be doing it so that everyone could hear. It'd be done behind closed doors. So it's like living a double life. It was hard for others to believe because they never saw it. And that's how cunning it was. We've been through this enough times for you to know that means something's wrong. And if someone was actually sitting there and just heard me go, they wouldn't know any the wiser. They actually wouldn't know any the wiser. They would just think, oh. But you'd see my child or my partner jump up straight away and go, do something. And so that's the type of control and manipulation and intimidation that I was using. I really did have control of it. You might hold the bank card, but at the end of the day, I know how much is on that bank card itself. And every dollar you spent, I need to know what's spent, and I need to know the balance. The process before the protection order even started was police coming around, having an argument, police coming around because neighbours have rung up, hearing yelling and screaming and shouting, children crying. So they'll come and the police will turn up, and myself and my partner at that time would just deny it. She would switch, she would change. I'd say to her, look what you've done now. Look who's here now, the police are here now, see, look what you've done. You go talk to them, go on. And what, I'll get locked up and you be by yourself and you'll be dealing with all these children, is that what you wanted? The officers knew, hang on, this is too many times we've come to this house. You know, neighbours ain't just ringing up because they don't like you, neighbours are ringing up because they can hear stuff. And so it got to a point where they turned up, I was still yelling. Can't hide it now. And that's when they introduced the protection order, pulled my partner away from me. And at that stage, my partner started feeling scared, because I would push, I would shove, I would elbow, I would sneakily do stuff. And it was just getting worse and worse, and she felt unsafe. I controlled friends that were around her. If I knew that they were busybodies and just want to know, you know, sort of, what does she want? You know, come on, what does she want again? Your sister or your mother or your friend, what do they want? You know, just really wanting to know that you haven't told them about us having an argument, did you? Because this is us. This is between us, we could sort this out. And I wasn't allowed to be in the house no more. I had to leave. To the point where I was breaking those protection orders like no tomorrow. I couldn't handle being away from home. I missed my children. I was alone. I had to go away to other places, and I just couldn't stand the thought of me not being there. So I would sneak all the time to the house, but I suppose it was that control over her as well. Just still having the control. I feel I was losing it if I wasn't there. After like my 5th or 6th breach, because I was just getting breach, and getting told, you know, you're looking at 2 years minimum, because a breach is carrying a penalty of 2 years. You're constantly doing this. You're just straight out breaking your bail. You're picking up your children, even just taking them with you, and you're a risk to society. You're a risk to everyone around you. So I've stepped in. And took 7 of my children. Took 7 of them. The youngest would have been about 3, 4 months, 5 months. And at that time when I got the message that they were gone and Sifskia and been split up, was when I was in jail. And when I got that message, the kids are all in custody of Child Youth Family Services. I was an angry man, and I didn't care, because what did I have to lose? I lost everything. I lost my wife, I lost my children. What was the point of being around anymore? I might as well just hurt anyone and everyone, and sort of hit me then when I'd lost. I had to lose everything to realise what I had, and then I understood what losing everything was about. When you're inside in jail, I had a lot of time to think. You know, sitting in cell, you've got nothing but to think. And I'll tell you, I shed a lot of tears in there, and regrets of what I did, and committed suicide, tried to commit suicide in there as well. I needed to get some sort of help. I got recommended a guy, and this guy reminded me of my grandfather, very strong Māori guy, and straight blunt, straight talker, straight shooter. And I walked into his office, had long hair then, and had a bit of an attitude when I walked in, and sat in the seat, looked him in the eye, and he looked at me and just said, "So how are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm good." He goes, "Oh, well, see you later. There's the door." And I thought, what? I've been sent here by probation, said I had to come and do some counselling. He goes, "I asked you, are you good? You said you're all good. Can't help you if you're all good." And I thought, the cheek of you to do that and say that, but I thought, far out. You just remind me of my grandfather, because he was a straight shooter, and it got my respect. You were a no-nonsense man, and I needed that. And I just didn't like any of this stuff that he was telling me, but it was true. It started changing the things within me, and I just said, "When's our next session?" You know, he'd sat in there for an hour. This is an hour session, and gone past an hour just like it was 5 minutes. And it was the first session, I suppose, that got me, because I had done many counsellings. You know, I'd done all these programs just to please the courts or just to tick a box. I now was armed with something that like empowered me, that sort of gave me hope that I can possibly change. First thing I needed to do was get straight, was I need to get off drugs. It's the first thing he told me. If your mind's not right and you're taking drugs, you're not even in the right frame of mind to think. And because things were changing within me and things were happening within me that I'd never felt before felt good. I'm actually doing something that's good. I'm doing something that's positive. I've got nothing to worry about. I haven't done anything wrong. The police don't need to arrest me. I don't need to look over my shoulder at them to see if they're going to come in the door. As much as I wanted to do the big jumps and get there in the end, it really came as a little step, one at a time. You know, there's times where I'd slip back, drop back, might be take drugs and fell back down, but I never ever let that get me down. He said, get back up. Get back up, bro. I think after that day I walked out of that office, I went and got a haircut, chopped my hair off. I'd had for 15, 18 years. I'd always had long hair and I never ever thought I'd have life with short hair. And chopped it and it felt good because it wasn't just about how I looked, it was about, I felt new. I felt like I just chopped off all the old me. I was starting to get rid of the old stuff of me, of what I had. I met up with other men that have gone through same experiences as myself. I share amongst a group of fellas, a group of guys, and we just lay everything out on the table about how's your day going. It grounds me because I once was there, and I've came out of there, but I also know how hard it is and the struggles you go through when you just start your journey. But I don't see myself as being this one that's, you've got it all together, that's you, that's it, you're cured. I just take it day by day, and I look back to how I was, and I just don't want to be that guy. Those were choices I made. I didn't have control of my life then. I have control of now. I can't change those things back then. I can't. I can change now. And I can show my changes. I live it. I breathe it. My children live it and breathe it now. I really feel for brothers that have come from gangs, from situations where I've come from. So I have a real passion to tell them there are other ways that you can take your journey, and you make that decision. If you can be put on ticket to yourself first, bro, then everything that comes out your mouth will be that, will be true and right. But if you can't be, then anything that's coming out is rubbish. And I live by that now, to be true and right. The life that I live now is a 180 of what I used to live. So I share my story with other brothers and other sisters about my journey that I've taken and how change can happen if you want it. But you gotta want it.